Hello, and welcome to the latest revision video from High Tunstall PE. Today we're going to be looking at performance-enhancing drugs. Unfortunately, some of these drugs made me go all hoarse. Hello! Okay, enough of the nonsense. It's time today to go through and talk about different performance-enhancing drugs linked to the AQA GCSE PE syllabus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of the substances, talk about how they are administered, talk about the athletes that would use them, and then kind of evaluate the kind of advantages and disadvantages of each. So, as part of the syllabus, you need to know about stimulants, narcotic analgesics, anabolic agents, peptide hormones, diuretics, blood doping, and beta blockers. So, first thing we are going to look at is stimulants. Okay, so stimulants essentially are used to increase the alertness of that particular performer, make their reaction times quicker. So obviously a 100-metre sprinter may benefit from using a stimulant, as they would be able to react to the gun quicker, obviously taking vital seconds off their particular time. If we move on to our next performance-enhancing subject, which is narcotic analgesics. Now, the way that I always remember this particular one is that an anaesthetic is something that numbs pain, and an analgesic is something that numbs pain as well. So a narcotic analgesic may be used by a sports performer who is suffering from an injury. They may have a big important match coming up, so they would take this particular substance in order to numb the pain to get through that particular performance. Obviously, a disadvantage of this is pain is usually linked to an injury. If you take a narcotic analgesic and then participate in a sport, you may worsen an injury and be out for a longer period of time. Now we're obviously going to look at anabolic agents. These are kind of arguably the most kind of well known. So this is your anabolic steroids. So these are taken to increase muscle mass and size and power, linked to events that obviously are underpinned by those. So you think of your weightlifting, if you think of shot put, discus, any kind of events that are power related. Advantages: increased muscle mass linked to power. Disadvantages: there's numerous health risks involved in taking anabolic steroids. It does a lot of damage to the kidneys. It does a lot of damage to a lot of the major organs in the body. Obviously, the bigger the body gets, the heart has got to cope with that demand. That's why a lot of heart problems can be linked to people who are taking anabolic agents. If we move on to peptide hormones, or the process linked to EPO, this has been quite prevalent in the news recently because of things like the Tour de France and cyclists. And essentially the process of EPO is to increase the amount of red blood cells in the bloodstream. The more red blood cells you've got, the more hemoglobin that is able to carry oxygen. So it obviously has a direct improvement on your cardiovascular endurance. Obviously this is banned, and one of the Russian doping scandal that's out there at the minute, this was focused around kind of peptide hormones and EPO. It's the artificial increasing of red blood cells in the body, which is banned. Okay, a lot of health risks such as the thickening of the blood, heart attacks and heart problems, again due to obviously increasing and tampering basically with the natural blood supply in a human being. Moving on to diuretics. Diuretics are one of the hardest ones to trace, and the role of a diuretics is twofold. It's either for rapid weight loss via urination, so it gets rid of water within the body. So a jockey or a boxer that needs to lose weight really quickly may use diuretics, but also it's a way to flush out other traces, maybe recreational drugs or other banned substances. You would take a diuretic to get that out of your particular system. If we move on to blood doping, this is another process involving tampering with the blood, but this is about taking blood out of the body and freezing it before a major event, and then 2 or 3 days before putting it back into the body, getting that blood into your bloodstream, increasing those red blood cells again. But this process is also is banned by a lot of by WADA and a lot of the major sports. Final one we're going to talk about is beta blockers. Now, beta blockers kind of suppress the effects of adrenaline. So basically, when you have a surge of adrenaline in the body, it might increase alertness, excitement, increasing heart rate. Beta blockers try to stop this. So it's used by sports that require control and precision. So something like pistol shooting, which is obviously your accuracy over a certain distance. If you've got shakes or you're nervous, it might affect your performance. Beta blockers settle you down, calm you down in order to keep that control and accuracy and precision. So for the exam, it's likely that you'll get a question where you have to evaluate the usage. So if you go through the process of telling the examiner what the performance enhancing drug does, talk about sports that it may be used for, and then go into your argument for and against that particular substance, you won't be far off.
So hopefully this has been useful. No more horseplay, and best luck in the exams this summer.